Sriram, my old friend, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Matt. Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's been so long. Sriram, I was really excited to talk to you today because, in talking about this topic of avoidable blindness, I've just finished this book, Infinite Vision, which is all about using compassion to overcome avoidable blindness in India and beyond, thanks to the guidance of Aravind Hospital and Aurolabs. Can you tell me a little bit about your perspective on avoidable blindness worldwide?
If you look at the statistics, the majority could be the refractive errors. 2.5 billion people worldwide who need some sort of refractive correction, and at this point in time, they don't have a good access to it or awareness of it, or a combination of many factors, economics and all of that. The second one would be the cataract, which needs surgery, which means a bit more effort than refractive correction. After that, there are many. I'm not sure how much vision we can bring back, like glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy. At least they can maintain with what they have if they have a good awareness. Drugs and treatment modalities are available. When it comes to commercials, the third one probably may be a larger market in terms of money. Many companies are there addressing many issues. Some of them could be niche issues. Some of them could be emerging issues. This is how I see it.
Well, in talking about this book, again, Infinite Vision, which I mentioned I'd read recently, it was about Dr. V, who now is a very famous ophthalmologist and entrepreneur who really ushered in the Aravind hospital system, which became one of the world's largest, if not the largest, hospital system. But when he was starting out, he just had, from what I remember, 11 beds. His mission was to be able to deliver care for free, which was incredible because, again, it grew from those 11 beds to a much larger hospital group. Is it possible to replicate that model elsewhere in the world, or was this just something very special for Aravind?
Aravind is the largest eye care provider in the world, treating close to 4.5 million patients. I don't think any other organization in the world would have touched this kind of numbers. Not all of that were done free. 50% were done free. The rest, they paid market rates or little bit below than the market rates. Because Aravind was able to do at the market rate a very large volume, they were able to subsidize for the other group. There is an institute within Aravind called LICO. They try to help hospitals to do more with what they have. Aravind cannot be made in many parts of the world, but the systems followed in Aravind can be made. Some of them have become a role model institute like Aravind in that region. Among the hospitals that they have given the coaching and hand-holding, within 3 years, they were able to increase their volume by 60 to 70%. Aravind is a business model studied, by many institutes, including Harvard, because it collects money from a group of people who can pay and then make the surplus because of the volume that they do, and then use the surplus to treat people who are unable to pay. A kind of a modern Robin Hood way of acting, I would say.
Aurolab, meanwhile, is sort of the manufacturing arm of the hospital unit. It was developed, my understanding is because at that time, you needed to have more affordable IOLs to do these procedures. And in a similar vein, is that also one of the ways that you've been able to make such a dent in avoidable blindness worldwide?
So when Aravind was treating the patient, they showed no difference between the patient who was paying and who could not pay. But when the lenses came into the market in the late 80s, it started gaining acceptance in the Indian market. The hospital was importing the lenses from the US for about $80-90. We felt that this lens is more needed for a poor patient than a rich patient, because the poor patient has to do physical work and he cannot wear a thick 10D glass, a fake glass, and then he cannot do a physical work. If the glass breaks, then he's literally blind again. This is more suitable for a poor man, but unfortunately, he could not give it free. I think that was the reason the Ouro Lab was started. Ouro Lab is also a foundation. There are no shareholders here. He was very clear. Money should not drive this organization. Rather, it has to make products and then make it affordable. We were able to bring down the price to 1/10 of the market price at that time.
Now, I remember reading also that, there's now subsequent generations since Dr. V started the system. How has that changed the culture there? Has things tended toward commercialization more over time? And if so, does that actually help the business to achieve ends, including more care for avoidable blindness?
So I belong to the second generation.
Okay.
Now the third generation family members are working as doctors. In India, a lot of patients to be treated. So there is enough work for them to do. Aravind is not just hospital, it also has got a research base. So for these doctors, this is a good platform to put their scientific knowledge to practice and then see that gets benefit humankind.
It's very enlightening to hear all of this. Aurolab, the Aravind hospital system, these are outliers in a world where corporations, startups, the whole gamut, it's all about the bottom line. What is the future of all this? Because again, we really are trying to reduce avoidable blindness. I don't know that it's the innovations in necessarily refractive surgery where the money is being spent in R&D to reduce a problem like this. You're sitting at the one company that is making a difference in terms of avoidable blindness. So where do you see the future of the industry headed? Is it in a better direction to really help patients, whether in developing countries or developed countries?
Aravind and Ouro Lab, we also make money. It is not that though we are outliers, we do make money. We also have a healthy bottom line. How we use the money matters. So we expanded. We have built a hospital in Chennai, which is close to 500,000 square feet. It has a potential to treat more patients. Bottom line is important for everyone, including Aravind. How much bottom line matters, and more importantly, how you spend the money also matters. If you put the money back to the business, do more research, reach out to more patients, bring down the avoidable blindness, then there is no harm in making the bottom line.
Very interesting. Well, can you tell me also, how is India doing currently with the cataract backlog, and how close is it to being completely eradicated?
I think India has to do roughly around 9 million surgeries. So they are doing roughly about 7 now for our population. So which means about 2-3 million population is getting added to the backlog. So in course of time, I think India will certainly catch up. If you look at China, on the other hand, they're doing less than 3 million surgeries. So for a population similar to India, they should be doing actually same number, like 10 million is what they should be doing. There are many, many institutes in India. It is not just Aravind alone.
Right.
There are many, many institutes in India doing good social work. That is one difference that I see between India and other countries. Out of these 7 million surgeries happening, I would say probably around 2.5 million maybe paid surgeries. The other would be from the government or from these institutes where they charge less or nothing.
The first time I came to India, I remember, was about 12 years ago, and it was on behalf of a Unite for Sight mission in Chennai. I spoke with one of the doctors that was in charge, and I said, seems like really great work that's being done here. I'm really happy to be part of the program. And he said, the work is okay. We kind of get by doing what we can. But to be honest, it's going to be capitalism that comes in here and changes everything for the better. I kind of reflected on that and thought about that recently, also in terms of Aravind and Ourolab, because it was started with complete charitable purposes. But over time, it does seem like, as you say, the part where capitalism is involved, it also helps to spread the good work. So it seems like a mixture is needed.
For the hospitals or institutes like Aravind, they have to deploy doctors, employ doctors, and then the doctors have to be paid what the market pays them. But he has got opportunity to treat more patients, publish articles. If it is going to be his private practice, then it becomes a challenge. Even the institutes that is doing community work or charitable work have to pay their doctors the commercial rates.
Worldwide, Of course, we hear the names of companies like Alcon, Bausch& Lomb, Zeiss so much, but truly it's Aurolab connected to this marvelous hospital system in India, which makes a massive difference throughout the world. And I feel like there are still many, many Westerners that don't know that, many people around Asia Pacific that don't know that. It's not to say they have to, but is Aurolab doing things to raise its profile worldwide to continue the spotlight on good work that you're doing and help others do it as well?
I would say even Alcon, Bausch& Lomb, AMO, they're also doing good work.
Yeah.
They are spending the money on the research and then bringing new technologies. But unfortunately, their cost and the systems does not allow them to go to the bottom of the pyramid, unfortunately. Companies like Ouro Lab, Appasamy, those companies, for us also to get into the market, difficult. We need those technologies which are off patent to be adopted and then made beneficial to the bottom of the pyramid. If we all can work together, without affecting their commercial interest, I think the humanity can get a better use of these technologies.
I was going to say that maybe the new frontiers for you at Aurolab are places like Africa, Latin America, because you've certainly taken care of your own populace there, but I guess those would be great expansion markets. And is that indeed what's happening at Aurolab?
In Africa, we have a distributed network in most of the countries. But for Alcon, it is difficult. They have the office only in South Africa. South Africa is not Africa. I went to Kenya and Ethiopia. I was told that whole of African continent has got 3 eye banks. I'm not sure whether I'm right, but that is what I was told. One in South Africa, one in Kenya, one in Ethiopia. But India has got 800 plus eye banks. One country. Africa needs more eye banks. It is not a rocket science technology, but somehow it is not getting there. Even in Kenya, I could see there are very, very few phaco machines are available. So companies like Aurolab, their role is to make these technologies affordable and accessible throughout the world. I think that is the challenge before us. And I really would like to put my effort to address this kind of situation with the vehicle that I have called Aurolab. If I could do that, that is probably will be more satisfying for me.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, you're second generation there. I agree. I think if you can do that, then that is enough gift to the world, indeed. Well, Sriram, thank you so much for joining the program. I see the mother and Sri Aurobindo up on the right staring down at us, and I feel their goodwill, even though they've passed away, their energy is still among us to keep moving forward to address avoidable blindness worldwide, from India to Latin America, Africa, and beyond. So thank you. Thank you very much for joining the program.
Thank you, Matt. It was really wonderful talking to you. Thank you.